This video answers a question which was commented on one of my videos. Why do we have the words overwhelmed and underwhelmed, but not whelmed? If you want to know the answer to a question about language or its history, comment below and I'll see if I can make a video about it. Maybe you watched last week's video explaining the plural of octopus and were overwhelmed by how fascinating the history of a single word can be. Or maybe you've clicked on this video just after watching a different video on a different channel, which you found underwhelming. We know what it means to overwhelm or underwhelm, but take away the over or under, and what are we left with? Whelmed was originally a word, but to understand its meaning, we must first look at the history of the words we're more familiar with. Underwhelm is a relatively new word that didn't even exist 100 years ago. It was created as an opposite to overwhelm because over and under are opposites. Underwhelm means to make no impression at all, to disappoint, whilst overwhelm means to overpower. But overwhelm didn't always mean this. Originally, its meaning was physically engulf, submerge, particularly in the context of water. But overwhelm has become a fossilized metaphor in English, since it is now used almost exclusively with a meaning which was originally a metaphor. A fossilized metaphor is a word or phrase whose literal meaning has been lost or nearly lost, while a metaphorical meaning remains. For example, depend originally meant to hang down, but now if you say that you depend on something, you don't mean that you are literally hanging down on it, but that you need it, as if you were clinging onto it for dear life. In the same way, overwhelm originally meant to submerge, but now it is mostly used metaphorically, meaning overpower. Nautical metaphors like overwhelm are exceedingly common in English. Just consider words and expressions like flagship, learn the ropes, take something on board, or be in the same boat. But if overwhelmed meant submerged, what did whelmed mean? The answer is exactly the same. Whelm meant submerge, just like overwhelm. But why have two words that mean the same thing? And why has whelm disappeared from use? It all comes down to something called semantic bleaching. Semantic bleaching is the reduction of a word's intensity. In the case of whelmed, overwhelmed developed as an intensified form of the word. If to whelm something is to submerge it, to overwhelm something is to submerge it completely with water flooding all over it. But English speakers preferred the intensified form, overwhelm, and began to use it more often than whelm, so that it lost its extra intensity. Therefore, overwhelm ended up with the same meaning as whelm, and so whelm became redundant. There are many examples of semantic bleaching like this in English. For example, when people overuse intensifying adverbs, like literally, they lose their intensity, becoming a habit of everyday speech. A sentence like, I literally had the best day yesterday, which just means I had a good day yesterday, is an extreme example of semantic bleaching. A very old example of semantic bleaching is the origin of the English word prepare. The Latin word for prepare was paro. Latin speakers intensified it by adding pre, meaning beforehand, so preparo meant prepare beforehand. Preparo began to be used more and more, and eventually in some places it took on the original meaning of paro, and gave rise to the English word prepare. And now the same thing seems to be happening again, as more and more English speakers adopt the word pre-prepare into their vocabulary. So, whelmed did exist, but fell victim to semantic bleaching, and its original meaning, submerged, has been all but forgotten by people who use the words overwhelmed and underwhelmed. Will you start using the word whelmed after watching this video? Are there features of English you've always wondered about? Your idea could be the inspiration for the next video, so comment below, like and subscribe.